Alright guys, welcome back into another preseason DFS video. This week we got the week 3 coverage here for you for the Thursday night slate. You guys can get all of our slate coverage on the Patreon page. We have cashed in 6 out of 8 slates so far in the preseason. It's been very good so far. So if you guys want to see that, you guys can check that out. Link is in the description of the video. But also I do want to mention we are going to be going over the Tour Championship picks in this video right at the end. Just quick coverage. I'll have that timestamped in the description below as well. But real quick, getting into it before we get into the picks, I do want to talk about the strategy for week 3. It's a little bit different. We don't exactly know what coaches want. So in week 1 and week 2, it's kind of easier to predict playing time. You kind of just got to read the tea leaves and figure out what's going on. But for week 3, we really don't know exactly what's going to happen because coaches, they really just want to get a good look at their offense or first stringers. And to them, we don't really know what a good look is to them, you know. An offense can go out, put together 2 solid drives that lead to field goals. That's going to be good enough for them. Some coaches want to see a touchdown, and they'll play, until that point. And then some coaches just want to see how other players do in certain situations. Some will play with the starters. Some will play with the second strings. We just really don't know what coaches are thinking. Unless we get that, coach that comes out and says, this player is going to play a full half, specifically like a quarterback that normally happens, then we'll know to play that guy. But so far, we don't have that. I am posting this video on Wednesday night. So just that being said, let's get into the player pool. All right, so starting off here, we're going to start off with the Giants. I do like to still run stacks. Preseason stacks are the way to do it, that's for sure. So Daniel Jones, I do like as a pick here. I do think he's going to play around a half, but I'm not really sure how much Eli Manning's going to play. I would project him to play about a quarter and a half, and I think Daniel Jones is going to get about a half, and then people are going to fill in from there. The running back position for the Giants this week, I think, is one that we can attack. Wayne Gallman got 11 carries last year in the preseason in week 3. So kind of their third string, second string running back kind of gets a lot of work. I think it's going to be Wayne Gallman for us this week. After that, we're looking at all the injuries that, the Giants still have at the receiver position. Now, we could play Cody Lattimore, Benny Fowler, have been getting kind of hype. I like TJ Jones the most, though. I kind of want to target second string players in week 3 of the preseason because we know that they're going to play a little bit with the starters, and then they're going to play, with the second string, obviously. So especially at the receiver spot, running back spot, not a bad strategy there. After that, I don't really like in their tight ends, so let's get into the other side of the ball here. So quarterback Ryan Finley has actually been pretty good so far in the preseason. You can see there in his stats and the update there in his last game. Really solid. Jeff Driscoll doesn't really seem to be a factor anymore there in that quarterback battle. So it's really just going to be Andy Dalton for, probably a quarter and a half, and then Finley will probably get about a half a play as well. So that's kind of why I like him. Going for the running back spot, Jordan Ellis is the running back that I like the most again for the Bengals. Touched on this in the Patreon page. He got used a lot last week. Pretty solid play. He got used in the passing game quite a bit, and as you guys can see, they're pretty banged up at the running back spot. There's no reason to give Joe Mixon too much work or Giovanni Bernard, so why not just Jordan Ellis? Kind of got to wait and see for the injury updates, but that's what I'm going to be going with. So Wills here, that was another play that I liked last week in the preseason. He ended up doing pretty well. As you guys can see there, he almost had a touchdown last week as well. Really not going to be a horrible play. Looking at the tight ends position here, they're kind of banged up, Tyler Eifert shouldn't get that much work because of his injury history, so I don't mind Mason here. Getting a little bit of hype. They kind of just say that he's doing solid in camp. Maybe not a bad play. He did get 3 targets last week. All right, moving on. So Baltimore, we know what to do with Baltimore, guys. We play their defense, and you play their young running back. Okay, I went over this the last 2 weeks. We don't, maybe Kenneth Dixon gets a little bit of a run just because he's the veteran fighting for a roster spot, but Justice Hill, that's the play we want. That's the play we need to play the last 2 weeks. He's going to get around 10 carries. It's just whether or not he produces. He did produce last week. He was able to score a touchdown. Looked pretty darn good. He's looked good the last 2 weeks doing it. And, if you're going to be playing a running back, you kind of want to look for the defense. Baltimore defense has been the best in the preseason so far, so I do really like them. Philadelphia has kind of struggled as well, so Baltimore defense is going to be a strong play. I did pull Miles Boykin there. Not going to be a bad play. I don't love it, though. Looking at the Philadelphia side, we got to figure out what they're going to do at the quarterback spot. I do think some news will come out that we can figure out what they're going to do with that, and then it might not be a bad play, but for now, I don't think Josh McCown's going to play, so maybe Carson Wentz could be a play. We just need to get more news on that. Running back side, I think Corey Clement's not going to be a bad play. He just came back from injury. They're going to want to get him, going in their offense. Probably play maybe 3 series. It's just whether or not what he can do with that. Kind of just more of a dart throw. So as we can see here, they are pretty banged up at the tight end spot. So Will Tye would be the tight end that I would want to go with out of that team. Now I do want to mention Dallas Goedert. Just for fantasy football season long, I think he could be a sneaky, fantasy football draft tight end. So if you guys are playing season long, just keep an eye on Dallas Goedert. I think he could hold more season long value than some people are giving him credit for. Now going on to the Washington Redskins here, Case Keenum, he should play a decent amount, and so should Dwayne Haskins. I think both of those quarterbacks will play about a half. So obviously I like Case Keenum a little bit more. He looks a little bit more, obviously he's a little bit more polished. So that might not be a horrible play. But other than that, I don't really like that for a DFS standpoint. Obviously, I'm curious about Jordan Reed for season long, Darius Guice for season long, and then Terry as well. Those are 3 players that I'm actually going to be watching this game for season long purposes, but I'm not going to be playing really anyone in DFS. On the other side of the ball, the only one I really want to play is going to be Ito Smith. Ito Smith has looked pretty good in preseason so far. Last year in the preseason, the Falcons gave Tevin Coleman around 10 total touches in the preseason. So that's why I like Ito Smith. He's the second string running back, and I think he'll get around that same work. I do want to mention the Falcons defense should be pretty good as well, because Washington has been atrocious on defense so far. Or on offense so far, they haven't really been able to score. So Falcons defense might not be a horrible play for you. On the Carolina side of the ball, not sure I really like anyone except for Reggie Bonifone, who has been getting a ton of run in camp in the passing game. We finally saw that come to fruition there last week. Bonifone got 5 targets and 4 receptions last week in preseason week 2. So not a bad play. That's really all that I want from them on that side of the ball. So let's switch over to the quarterback spot for the New England Patriots. So typically Tom Brady does play in preseason week 3, plays quite a bit. Normally throws the ball about 15 or 22 attempts. If he sits though, Brian Hoyer, Stidham, those are going to be the 2 plays that you want to go with. Those guys will both get about a half. Going to be easy plays. And then, like the Ravens, with the Patriots, we know that we should be targeting, running backs. With the Ravens, it's normally just 1 running back. With the Patriots, it's 2. So we're going to go back to Preseason there. Then we're going to go to Damian Harris. Those are going to be the 2 running backs for the Patriots that we're going to target. They both look good, and they both played well so far. The Patriots are still pretty banged up at the receiver spot, which has led to Myers just being an easy lock play the last 2 weeks. Not sure he's a lock play this week, but I'm definitely going to have high exposure to him, especially if you're doing stacks with Brian Hoyer, maybe Brady a little bit if he plays. We got to wait and see on Brady, like I said, but still, the Patriots players are kind of easy. You kind of know who to play there. The Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback situation is a curious one because I think Nick Foles needs a decent amount of playing time to get acclimated to the offense. I could see him playing a half, and then we got Gardner coming in here and playing another half. He threw the ball 29 times last game. So if he's going to be throwing the ball at least 20 times again, I really don't mind that as a play. But it's trying to figure out who he's going to be throwing it to. DJ Chark, I don't mind. He's getting a ton of hype out of camp. He just has to show it on the field. He hasn't really done that yet. So that's something I want to see out of him. But, there's not really any other pass catchers that I really like. And Gardner and Chark, they're not going to be like stackable players really much. There's not going to be that much overlap. So I don't really like that. But 2 separate plays, they're not going to be bad. The Miami Dolphins side of the ball, I don't see the point of playing Fitzpatrick a full half. I do think Josh Rosen will play a full half. So I do like Josh Rosen quite a bit as a quarterback. He has struggled. He needs to throw a touchdown, and hopefully he can do that against Jacksonville. Now, Preston Williams, he had a ton of targets last week. He almost had a touchdown. If you haven't, it was actually very impressive. Check out that highlight last week. Just type in Preston Williams on Twitter. With all those injuries there still too, I do think Preston Williams is going to get around 5 targets again. Probably a pretty safe play. He'll be high owned though, but I think we just kind of got to take that ownership and run with it. Moving on to the Green Bay side, I do really like Green Bay's offense. I kind of always say in fantasy football, play what you know, and I'm a Packers fan, so I kind of know the Packers a little bit better. Jake Gumarow has been a good play the last 2 weeks. His playing time has been pretty much doubled the last 2 weeks, so if his playing time doubles again, he's going to be a really solid play once again. Darius Shepard here, He's been getting a lot of hype out of camp, especially because he's a really good slot receiver. He's pretty much their only true slot receiver, or pure slot receiver. I do think he'll get a pretty decent amount of run in this game. I like the targets there too. Moving on to tight end here, Robert Tonyan. He continues to get the targets. He got a ton of run last week. He should still get a ton of run this week. He had 5 targets last week. So those are the 3 that I like the most for the Packers. And then going to the Oakland side of the ball, there's nothing really that I love. I am going to be paying attention to this game, though, for fantasy football purposes. Derek Carr, I want to see how he does. Hunter Renfrow, I want to see how he does. Obviously, Josh Jacobs. It doesn't seem like he's going to play that much, but I am curious to see how he does as well. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys for the picks. Like I said, if you guys want to see the picks, check out the NFL DFS membership. The link is in the description below. Now, let's get into those Tour Championship picks. All right, so real quick, just going over the Tour Championship picks. First, I want to say you guys really shouldn't be playing this. DraftKings didn't really give us the contest that we wanted. Should have been some sort of showdown slate with like a captain spot that gets 2x, and then another spot that gets 1.5x, and then another spot that gets 1.25x. That would have been the way to do it. Then I would have enjoyed that competition a little bit more, because for this, you pretty much have to get lucky. My strategy for this, I'm going to be fading Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay. You just can't afford to pay up for those guys. So from there, it's pretty much going middle of the pack there. I'm pretty much going with the people that are 4 under and 3 under and going from there. So the play that I like is going to be John Rahm. I think that's the staple that you have to go with. So this is one thing I hate about the playoffs too. John Rahm has had a much better year the whole year, and even recently, than Justin Thomas. And somehow Justin Thomas has the 6-stroke league just because he won last week. He got hot and had a really good week. I don't know. That bothers me quite a bit. I do like what they have done so far. This is an improvement from what they've had before. It actually has some logic behind it. But still, I mean, John Rahm's played much better than Justin Thomas recently. I don't like that too much. I shouldn't say much better, but overall, John Rahm's had a better year. Going on from there, I think Xander you could roll with a little bit, but I would actually rather just go a little bit lower, maybe go with Tony Finau. I think you have to. Justin Rose is priced really cheap. You can maybe go with him. I do like Kevin Kisner to step up and play well here as well. And then going lower, I don't really want to, but because obviously those guys have to gain some strokes to get those bonus points. But there are other bonus points out there that you can get in PGA DFS. But I'm going to be rolling with Sanjay M, Jason Kokrak still. Jason Kokrak, phenomenal stat fit. And then you kind of just got to fill in from there. So I gave you guys a decent amount of picks. Obviously, it's a huge player, or it's a small player pool. There's not going to be many lineup differentiations you can make. And obviously, there's a significant advantage to having Justin Thomas, Patrick Cantlay into your builds, and even Brooks Koepka. But my other strategy is going to be, John Rahm, Kevin Kisner, Jason Kokrak, and hoping that those guys can go out and play well and scoot up that leaderboard and hope the other guys kind of choke. We kind of got to wait and see. It'll be fun to watch. I mean, I'm just, if I'm playing DFS on the PGA side this week, it's going to be for fun so I can enjoy watching it. But you shouldn't be taking it seriously. Only enter it like in a single entry contest, and that's about it. And just enjoy it. I will say we will be having the PGA DFS season kick off once again in about a month, so we'll have that package for you guys on the Patreon page. So join that membership. But for now, we do have the NFL DFS membership available for you guys as well for the preseason DFS coverage. All right, that's all I have for you guys in this video this week. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a like and subscribe. And as always, let's keep cashing. Thanks.